Good evening. I'd like to call this Wednesday, November 20th, 2024 meeting of the City of Manassas Park Planning Commission to order. The time is 7 p.m. My name is Lester Finkel. Sitting this evening are Kevin Petak, John Evans, Alana Mensing, and Michael Becketts. And before we move along, I would like to recognize Mayor-elect Mensing. And we will be missing you after next month's meeting, but we're very excited for you, and it's been a real pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We can chat about that as a commission at the end of the meeting if we want to. But I just wanted to recognize you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I will do the moment of silence and pledge of allegiance for this evening. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The agenda item next is approval of the agenda. I don't have any changes to it. Any changes? Seeing none. Anyone care to make a motion to approve the agenda as is?
Move.
Motion, second.
Second.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Next item is the adoption of minutes from September 11th, 2024 meeting. I don't have any changes to offer. I don't know if anyone else does. Okay. Seeing none, would anyone care to make a motion to adopt the meeting minutes for the September 11th, 2024 meeting as is?
So moved.
Motion, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. I don't see any members of the public present, so we'll move along. Thank you. Our agenda item for this evening is public hearing, increases to land use and development fee schedule. I will open the public hearing. The time is 7:03. Administrator Berry.
Thank you. Let me just make sure. Good evening, everybody. What we have before you today are increases in fees. The last time we assessed this was back in 2018, and it does take a lot of work and research. We had a summer intern, Kyle Petak, who did most of the effort and all the research, so I wanted to thank him, although he's not present. His internship ended, but thanking him at this time for his efforts and work. We couldn't have put this together without him. It's a lot of research to go in and figure all this calculations out and comparisons. So the reason we're updating the fees is really twofold. One, we've had 4 new staff members in the Development Services Office, and 3 of them really do have some role in reviewing land use applications or zoning applications. So we have the department costs have increased just by the numbers of staff. And then secondly, it's been a priority of the governing body to increase pay for the employees to remain competitive in the region. And there have been several increases since 2018. Some 3%, and actually there was a 6% increase in fiscal year 2024. So with those costs, we look at the burden rate of staff, which includes not only their pay, but taxes along with benefits. And the process that we use for the land use applications along with the zoning permits and site plans and bonding is looking at the staff's hourly rate and averaging how much time they spend on the application through the various review processes. So that is really how we came to these new fees, but rounding a bit for just to make it a bit easier instead of having like 92 cents. So we did round them to make it just more easy as a list. So that you have attachment A, which shows the current fees and the increase. So I did want to take some time to look at that, as well as is also informative to look at a comparison between jurisdictions, which you can find in attachment B. I did want to mention that the site inspections, those were not calculated that way. We just did a 25% increase. It appears the consumer price index has increased by 25% since July 1st, 2018, so that is what we used for that measure. And site inspections, we do have, goes by Bud, Donald, our site inspector, who does go out to all the sites and looks to make sure that everything, not only the erosion sediment controls are in place, but does look at the public infrastructure, such as the water lines, sewer lines, and then their storm water management facilities. So, you know, that is a cost that we bear, and we need to, you know, assess that and fee that accordingly. So just real quickly, I did want to go through some, just as a comparison, to see kind of what the feel is, and that we're in pretty much line with some adjacent jurisdictions. It's not. For some reason this isn't working. Okay. Sorry about that, but it's using the mouse. Okay. So I have highlighted a few fees here, excuse me, and I just wanted to go over them very quickly. The home occupation permit, and I kind of more focused a bit on residential and homeowners fees. So we do get a lot of home occupations. The current fee is $50. We would like to charge now $65. And you can see there is a wide range there. The town of Dumfries actually charges $100, and Prince William around $70. So $65 is in keeping. I mean, there certainly Fairfax and Manassas are less, but we are within the range, and so I think that's an appropriate fee given our staff costs. And then I just would like to highlight our our planned development districts and rezoning. You can see across the board that some are a lot of money, $20,000 in the city of Fairfax as a base fee. Prince William has $17,000 and change. And so we are proposing a $7,180, and then $350 per acre for the development. That is what we calculated. It's now at 4,100, I believe. So it is an increase for those applications. And now that we have a transportation program manager and a transportation planner, those people will be involved in reviewing plans, so that it has added extra costs to those application reviews. I just wanted to highlight sign permit. Again, we're pretty much in the range, $175. Interesting, some of the jurisdictions, they actually charge more for larger signs. I guess we could consider that in the future. But an average is, I think, appropriate for us, and $175 is what we came up with. And if it's over 50 square feet, the fees are about on par. Variance requests, we do get those from time to time. Actually, I think there's been one that was processed since I've been here. And there, you'll see that a city of Fairfax actually divides it into single family and then all others. We just have a flat fee. We don't really get that many. But it does require processing of the applications and public hearings to the BZA. So it's an increase to $1,000. And again, it's in about keeping with those jurisdictions we have compared to. And then zoning compliance letters, we get those from time to time from financial institutions, or actually they do have zoning companies that do this for refinancing of commercial properties. And they always send in a request asking about the zoning of the property and whether they have any type of conditions, or if there's any non-conforming uses and if they can build back. So that's a common item that we receive, and we're now going to charge $375, which we're now charging, I think, $300 or $200, I believe. I don't have the comparison in front of me. Let me just really quick check. It is, yeah, $200. So it is going up by $175. And then lastly, I wanted to highlight the zoning review for the building permit. Oh, that actually didn't work too well. That's supposed to be, I put 70, it was at 75, and when I was looking through preparing for the presentation, I noticed that we should be actually charging 70. It didn't really, the calculation didn't reach 75. We're not allowed to actually make a profit. We have to charge at most what our total costs are. So I am recommending that this be reduced as part of the motion to $70. And we will be taking forward these fees in conjunction with building permit fees to the governing body next month. So with that, I advise that the Planning Commission recommend to the governing body approval of the fees as presented, with the exception of the, as presented, showing that $70 for the building permit fee. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Would I need to stipulate that $70, or just as is, we'll cover that if...
I think you should add it just to be clear that that's what we're doing, since the information provided says 75. We want to be clear for the record.
And that item is, which item was that again?
So it's the zoning review for a building permit.
Zoning. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions for Administrator Barry? Mr.
Yes,
Petak?
Thanks for the presentation. So is it generally a true statement or a way to characterize this as though it's cost neutral? So what I think you're doing is taking all the permits and applications you think you're going to get over the course of a year and adding them up, and then figuring out what the dollar amounts should be for each, such that you're covering the cost of the staff that's dedicated to process those applications and whatnots. Is that correct?
Well, we don't take an average of the applications per year. It's basically an average of the staff hours that we do per application. So every application, and we have little basically charts for each item, and totaling the processing of when the permit tech takes it in, and then me just reviewing it for completeness, and then distribution and getting comments back. And so it's not for the whole year, it's just basically an average amount of time that we spend and every staff member spends on that application through the approval process.
Okay, and I take it that the process is pretty well set, such that there's not a lot of variance in the amount of time it takes per application?
Right, it is. But to your point, though, and we have added a lot more third and subsequent submissions, because we have had plans since me being here where there's several submissions, 6, 7, and so just the base fee, if you will, doesn't cover that. So we are we just did it for site plan revisions and public improvement revisions now for every, even like approved site plans, because we get, revisions to those. That wasn't previously on the list. And so we are adding that just to make sure every submission and resubmission is, we're getting some cost back for that. But for the and the only one I would say that we're not doing that is for the as-built, but we are charging $1,000, and now we only charge $300, so we think that.
Whenever we've done this in the past, and I guess it was 2018 was last time, is that correct? Was there anything unforeseen that came up that wasn't accounted for in it?
I don't think so. I think these are the fees that we charge. I did eliminate some fees that were listed because I can't even find that in the zoning ordinance, so I just struck them like the preliminary site plan. We don't really have anything that is mentioned in our zoning ordinance about that. So, I think it's pretty comprehensive, and we did look at the other jurisdictions to see, if they have other charges. One takeaway from that is that a lot of them kind of charge based on the area of the land disturbance or a percentage of the bond for their fees. And just as a caveat, though, it's very hard to compare jurisdictions' fees because they calculate them a bit differently. And sometimes there's a lot of add-on fees based on that point in time of the application. So it's a bit apples to oranges here, but it does give you a sense of across the board, the established fee for that, because there's probably a lot of extra fees that get calculated in that aren't really represented in this chart.
Yeah, I had noticed that whenever I was looking at the other jurisdictions, for a number of factors, other jurisdictions appear to apply a fixed and variable cost component.
They do.
And it looked like for a number of those same measures, we were applying just a fixed cost per application. Can you elaborate on the reasoning there for some of those? Is it just that it's simpler to do just a fixed cost application, or is there a good reason for doing it fixed variable cost?
Well, I think 2 points. One, when we get in applications, some of these jurisdictions are very large, so the acreage that they submit the plans on are intense. I think the maximum plan that we've looked at, and somebody needs to correct me of what the village at Manassas Park was it? It's never over 20 acres. So I don't think it would behoove us to do it that way because we don't, we do have a cap, or not a cap, but there's a limitation on what applications we're going to receive just based on the makeup of the city.
Gotcha, yeah. I imagine a city or a county like Prince William has much more diversity in their projects than we'd have. I'm guessing that would be the case.
Right.
If
I may. So, and really the only honest way, or the way that I felt comfortable calculating this, was really just my time and the average time I spend on an application, just doing my part. And we do have a consultant that looks at our site plans, and I did look at how much time they do spend per site plan reviewing it.
Okay.
So that, to me, that's a really solid basis of making these fee calculations.
Mm-hmm. Great. One last question then from me. Can you elaborate on the stormwater management facilities installation and as built? It did look like our fees there, well, first of all, I didn't understand the 0.28 under Prince William County, the 0.28 multiplication factors for their different fees for the different lots of acreage. And by the way, I'm on page, for everyone, I'm on page 506. And I didn't necessarily understand Prince William County there. It did look like our proposed fees are a good bit above all of the other proposed fees. That was one area where I noticed we have much greater costs. I was wondering why that is.
Well, okay, so first of all, what is in our, this fee schedule, those are site inspections. And so it really is the total cost that is for review of the stormwater management plan. And so some of those fees are actually established by the state for a land disturbance permit if you exceed over an acre. And we just use that as a baseline for Bud's time and efforts for the site inspections. Now, what I will tell you with Prince William and I think the city of Fairfax, they also do a lot of stuff based on acreage, which isn't really reflected here. So, I mean, so I don't think the site inspection fees is a really accurate comparison, because when they do the site development permit, there's really a lot more calculations involved in that than we're doing. So again, that's one of those kind of disconnects between comparing the different jurisdictions.
Okay, so this is not an apples and apples type of comparison in this particular case?
Because
by the sound of it.
we analyze it based on what we charge, not what they charge, and how they do their fee structure. So
Gotcha.
we had to kind of plug in what was their fees based on what we're trying to do, and you kind of had to parse it out based on their fee schedule.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Other questions? Mayor Mensing?
I think it's a great idea to redo our fees, especially after this long. Kind of a random question. Do you have any idea when the city of Manassas and or Prince William County last updated theirs?
Well, I think Prince William is just last fiscal year, July 1st of 2024. Most of them are fairly recent, with the exception of Dumfries, and I think the city of Fairfax was 22. But in the city of Manassas, that's been a while.
It's been a while for them. I was wondering, because theirs are quite low.
Right.
I'm wondering if they're going to kind of jump up to catch up with us.
And they may, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions?
No other questions for me.
Good. Thank you. Appreciate the presentation. I don't see any members of the public, and at this time, I'll call for a motion to close the public hearing.
Moved.
Motion, second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The time is 7:25. Any discussion? Seeing none, I will offer a motion to recommend approval to the governing body, increases to the land use and development fee schedule as is, including the zoning review for building permit fee of $70. Would anyone care to make that motion?
So moved.
Motion, second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And that'll bring us to the informational update from Community Development Staff. Administrator Barry.
Yes, I do have 4 items for you. I just wanted to let you know that we have drafted the comp plan update RFP. It is currently under review by the city attorney, so hopefully we will be getting his changes back and trying to get that on the street as soon as possible. Next, we just wanted to let you know we had a pre-submission meeting with the developer of the vacant property at the corner of Manassas Drive and Digital Drive. They're proposing residential townhomes there. And so that happened at the end of October. So we should anticipate a land use application occurring at some point very soon. And then I know there was some interest in the Phase 4 Artena Park parking lot, the 150 public spaces. And I discussed that with city management, and I was told the developer is committed to putting in the parking lot, and they are working on some items to fine tune what they need to do. And once that's all resolved, they are going to move quickly to try to get the construction started. So we're in a little bit of a waiting period, but from what we know, they are certainly committed to building the 150 spaces. And then lastly, I just wanted to highlight that we do have a Vision Zero survey on the city's website, the main page. If you're not aware, Vision Zero is really trying to eliminate, or actually reduce, but hopefully aspire to eliminate fatalities and injuries for any kind of transportation mode. And so the survey is representative of asking questions about traffic safety. And so the end of that survey is Friday. So if you haven't completed the survey, if you could do so, and any of our listeners, if they're interested, please finish the survey. That would be valuable information for us. And that is all of the items that I wanted to bring up. But you did mention about the bylaws and so did you want me to discuss that, or?
Yes, that would be, just
Okay.
to let the commission know.
Yeah,
Thank
so we do have to meet in December, although we don't have any action items from me. Per the bylaws, we do have to, in December, do elections for the chair and vice chair. So we will have to meet very briefly on our December meeting to do that. And so I did discuss that with the chairman, and we believe it's a good idea to actually amend the bylaws to give some flexibility there, to say prior to, between November and December, that be done. So I will bring that forward to you at some next one of the nearby, yeah. Or we could, we might want to do it in December.
Next month
So,
is
yeah.
the other
Okay,
item of
that's
business to
actually
take
not a
care
bad
of.
idea. I just
That
talked
would be
myself into it, yeah.
Ready for
Okay.
next year
Yes,
then.
yes, I
That's
think
good. Just in
great.
case there's
Yes.
no business in
Right.
December, it's no reason to hold
No,
the
I
meeting.
agree. Yeah, that's
And
perfect.
I appreciate the willingness to
Yes.
update the bylaws so that we have that flexibility.
Mhm.
Good, thank you. And then with the respect to the RFP, I know we're not going to see it draft, but will we be getting a copy of it once?
Sure, once it's posted, and it's public information, so are you asking for a draft ahead of time of,
Well,
or?
I had previously inquired as to whether we could see it while it was still draft.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I think that's okay. Or I don't know any of the procurement rules and how that all works, if there are any, about giving draft RFPs to
At least just to the
members.
commissioners.
Yeah,
just as we
well,
take a look
once
at
you
it.
receive it, then it's in the,
It's public.
yeah. And actually, anybody, if we're talking about it and somebody wants to
Tech-
see it, it's not attorney-client privilege, so I guess we would have to show it. So I'm assuming that's okay, and that's probably the standard.
So whenever we can see it then.
Sure.
that'd be-
Yeah, I'd like the city attorney to look at it first before we do
Sure,
that.
I'm definitely interested in taking a look at it myself, and I know the commissioners are as well, so we appreciate.
Great. No, I think more sets of eyes will be helpful if there's anything missing.
Good, thank you.
Mhm.
Any questions for Administrator Barry? Okay.
No, but I'll just say for that Vision Zero survey, I took it, and there's a piece where you get to click on the city streets and put like, this needs a stop sign, this is speeders, it's very
Oh, wow.
therapeutic. So if you want to go and take your aggression out on your keyboard, it's great.
Cool.
So go take the survey.
Okay.
I would also, can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
I would also say, anybody that listens to WTOP, there was a story this morning about Montgomery County, Maryland, and their Vision Zero plan that seems to actually be working. Nationwide, fatalities from car accidents are way up. We're actually a much higher ratio than our neighboring developed nations, than our, the other developed nations of the world. Our fatality ratio is really high, and Montgomery County is like the one exception to the rule, and they're thanking their Vision Zero action plan and the projects that they've implemented because of that. So I think this is a really great thing to participate in. We don't have a lot of traffic fatalities in the city, but we don't want any either. So, this is a really big step for the city.
Thank you. Any other thoughts? Good, we're good? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And just again, congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll look forward to seeing you next month and then
Do
seeing
my
you
last,
off into your new role. But commissioners, if you wanted to say anything, you're welcome to.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
Very good. So at that, well, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Motion, second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The time is 7:32.